I've launched a tech incubator out of Midland, Texas. What is a tech incubator and why Midland? Well, it's not exactly Midland because if you're launching a tech incubator today as opposed to 10 years ago or 20 years ago, if you're launching today, that tech incubator, if it is to have a fighting chance, has to be instantly and inherently global from day one. So it is global, but it does have a base in Midland, Texas. Why? First, what is a tech incubator? A tech incubator nurtures multiple tech startups. The most famous example, perhaps, is Y Combinator out of Silicon Valley. When Y Combinator launched, it made sense to have it in Silicon Valley. That is where the action was. Today, that is no longer true. There are multiple Silicon Valleys in different parts of the world. Very impressive innovation happening in different parts of the world. Just yesterday, this AI startup coming out of China wiped out about $1 trillion in market value for multiple companies because it built something that does a very good job at a very low price. There are 125,000 tech startups in India, just like Bollywood makes more movies every year than Hollywood looks like by now. There are more tech startups coming out of India than out of California or the US overall. There's, of course, Israel, several places in Europe, pretty much on every continent. So, Y Combinator is probably the most famous name in the tech incubator space. The largest name, the largest presence probably was that of Techstars. It launched a little bit later, but it launched in multiple cities across the US. That is how it was different from Y Combinator, which was limited to Silicon Valley. I once got featured in a BBC article that also featured Paul Graham, the founder of Y Combinator, and Brad Feld, the founder of Techstars. Brad and I got to know each other personally. So, what's different about launching a tech incubator today as opposed to 10 years ago, 20 years ago? First of all, there is that exponential graph. Innovation is accelerating. If 30 years ago there was this amazing, breathtaking shift in technology, we call it the internet. Well, today there are about 10 such technologies all moving in parallel, all gearing to intersect with each other. AI is one of them. AI is all the rage right now. Looks like crypto is about to bounce back as a technology. That's just two. There are, about 10 internet sized technologies all raring to go and in many parts of the world, not just in one location. So when you launch a tech incubator today, the first fact you face is that exponential graph of innovation is going to happen with or without you. You're not really creating that innovation. You're not indispensable. That graph is there with or without you, with or without me. There is no indispensable entrepreneur. There is no indispensable company. There is no indispensable country. There is no indispensable nobody. You really have to go into spirituality to understand that graph, that exponential graph that seems to be beyond any one person or any one group's control. You have to go back thousands of years. This age of abundance that the top tech entrepreneurs talk about as being right around the corner, that was promised in the scriptures thousands of years ago, and it is finally about to happen. The Jews famously rejected Jesus 2000 years ago, puzzling Christians for 2000 years now as to why they did that. Well, they have been waiting for a Messiah, one king for all earth who will bring peace and prosperity to every corner on earth. Well, that is about to happen. That prosperity is about to happen. That age of abundance is about to happen. Elon Musk calls it universally high income as being right around the corner. When you introduce AI and robotics into the economy, suddenly you can produce so much more that everybody can have plenty. Everybody doing work on the cutting edges of AI and robotics, they can see that. They can see that soon we'll produce so much that everybody can have plenty. That right there is the age of abundance that was promised in the scriptures thousands of years ago. So when you're launching a tech incubator today, the key thing is that exponential graph of innovation and how you're going to ride that wave to benefit all humanity. My reason for doing this tech incubator is I feel like this is the most efficient way to serve the largest chunks of humanity on large scales in very impactful ways. To me, it is about service, serving large groups of people, large chunks of humanity. So, as a tech incubator, we'll be building some tech startups in house. Why? Because finding promising tech startups to invest in is not enough, because those promising tech startups will have multiple investors wanting to invest. So why will that promising tech entrepreneur take money from me? Why? Well, it's a competitive landscape, and I have to give them the reason why, because I bring more than money. If I am myself a founder CEO of a few companies, if I am myself building these ambitious companies, if I have that in-house, then that investment is more promising, more attractive to that tech entrepreneur. We will offer support systems, and that is new. Used to be venture capitalists only invested, they wrote checks, and that's it. And then they started providing some support. The largest VC firm in the world, it's in California, launched by this guy whose name is associated with Netscape, the first internet browser, Mark Andreessen. They have hundreds of peoples under the roof who provide support to the tech startups they invest in. You need marketing help, you need tech help, you need this help, you need that help, you need legal help. They have all these people, hundreds of people in house who help those tech startups. But the weakness is those support systems, those support teams, they don't compete in the open competitive marketplace. And so I will have to guess maybe they are not the best of the best. The support systems I intend to build will compete in the open marketplace. They will have to prove through their work and track record that they are the best of the best. There will be teams that I will use for my own startups. There will be teams that will go out there to look for business in the open marketplace. And the tech startups that I invest in, they will have the option to use those support systems or not. It has to be competitive. Also, I mentioned there are 10, about 10 internet sized technologies all moving in parallel, very ready to intersect with each other. The permutations and combinations that will result are very hard to see. 5 years out, 10 years out, very hard to see. What new companies we'll see, what new products we will see, what new services we'll see, what new innovations we'll see, very hard to see 10 years out. But we know big things are happening. Major paradigm shifts are happening in technology. So, how do you navigate? Well, my thesis is simple. I don't try to build tools. For me, it is not about this or that technology. Let the tool builders build the tools. I come from the problem angle. What big bad problem are you trying to solve? The bigger the better, the better the better. That is how I'm going to identify the tech entrepreneurs to work with through my tech incubator. So I'm not going to come from the technology angle, I'm going to come from the problem angle. I'm going to identify entrepreneurs who are tackling big bad problems to invest in, to support with my support systems through mentoring and counseling and every other way possible. I think that is going to differentiate, being global from number one, day one will be differentiating. I don't really care where you are. US, Europe, India, China, Africa, Latin America, Greenland, Australia, doesn't matter. Japan. Although, I do think US and India will stand out, especially India. Take one example. The Indian Space Agency, ISRO, often known as ISRO. Elon Musk has poached 60% of the engineers from ISRO. SpaceX basically runs on ISRO brain power. I think India has a deep bench of techies right there in India. And the whole visa regime is a major bottleneck. Cutting edge tech companies in the US cannot hire everybody they want to hire because, go figure. My solution to that is with my tech startups, I have invented a new equity formula called 30 30 30 10. I have a book on the topic available online for anyone who wants to grab a copy. I have open sourced the formula. Anybody who wants to can use it. The promise is simple. Adjusted for purchasing power parity, your salary in India should be competitive to your other team members' salaries in the US who are based in the US. Adjusted for purchasing power parity. That's the salary part. The equity part is the shares that you get. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. US, India, doesn't matter. Africa, Japan, Nepal, Portugal, doesn't matter where you are. It will be the same equity formula for everybody on the team, no matter where they are on the globe. And that right there will allow me to build the best tech teams on earth right there in India. I'll be minting millionaires after millionaires. Why Midland? Midland, Texas. Why Midland? To build a tech startup or a tech incubator, you need three things: capital, talent, technology. Midland doesn't have the talent, Midland doesn't have the technology. That is 1 hour away in Austin, or about 12 to 15 hours away in Delhi or Bengaluru or Mumbai, or a few hours away in California or a few hours away in New York City. You can fly from Midland to New York City for something like $150 if you book your ticket several weeks in advance. So, yeah, I'm very realistic, very matter of fact about the fact that Midland doesn't have the talent and the technology that a tech incubator needs, that a tech startup needs, at least not in large numbers. I'm sure there are a few hidden talents here and there, but Midland is not known for tech talent or the tech itself. But Midland is rich. It is the richest metropolitan area in the US. It is basically Dubai, Qatar. It is oil money, right? And the pitch I'm about to make is to the local oil millionaires: learn from the Gulf countries. They are being very hard nosed and realistic about the fact that the oil under the ground will either run out at some future date, or it will get priced out by something like solar energy. Either way, it is wise to diversify. The money you have made from oil should be invested, and there is no better sector to invest in than technology. The Gulf countries that are trying very hard to diversify their economies could teach a thing or few to Midland, Texas. And so, with that thesis that you should diversify your investment portfolio and put a big chunk of it into tech, is how I intend to raise my fund for the tech incubator locally in Midland. And Midland has this huge strength in that one sector. It needed to be strong in at least one of the three: capital, talent, technology. It is very strong in capital, and that is why this is where the base for the tech incubator is, although it is instantly, inherently global from day one. That is how you have to be competitive and to give good returns to your investors. Why Midland? Because it has the capital.